Islam, boys. Please be seated. I rise, giving all praise to Allah, the Father of the universe, cherisher and sustainer of all the boundless universes. We extend the highest of honor to His Holy Divine Prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder, the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. We extend high honors as well to his forerunner, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the founder of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, who did indeed warn and stir up the nations, Islam. We extend high honors as well to the Moorish flag, the red flag with the green 5-pointed star in the center. These 5 points represent love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. These are the 5 highest principles known to man. Islam? We extend high honors to the American flag, also known as the Stars and Stripes. This flag exists as a constant reminder that the Europeans owe you, the Moors, with compound interest. Islam? We extend high honors to the noble Sheik staff and noble Vanguard staff who keep the peace. We give honors to you, the ills and babes, for without you, there is no Moorish movement. Islam? How's everyone this holy night? How are my visitors? Y'all all right? Y'all good? Take a deep breath, stretch. You good? Great. All right. I'd like to extend further honors as well to Sister Taifa Imani-El, Sister Zenobia, Salahaddin Ali-El, beautiful names, right? And the reason why I want to extend high honors to these sisters was because this past Sunday, when we had our family from the Nation of Islam come and visit, these sisters demonstrated a degree of hospitality. They made sure we had good food, good vegan lemon cake. Oh, y'all missed out if y'all want to get it, right? Some brownies, some veggies, some fruits, plenty of water. Islam? Giving out Sister Taifa, who was here 8:30 in the morning, washing windows, mopping floors, sweeping floors front to back. So, this is that stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
That's right.
That no one ever speaks of, the people that are always off camera that we never see.
That's right.
We have to learn, our prophet taught us to say, we have to give honors to those who honors are due.
That's right.
For a man honors man and woman, he honors Allah. Islam. I give honors as well to my brother Akil Bey. My brother right here. The reason why I give honors to him is because, in the Bible, in the New Testament, I think it's in the book of Matthew, he talk about the rejected stone. And he talk about the stone that the builders refused has now become the head stone of the corner. A lot of times, we tend to sleep on the ones that we don't see coming. Islam? So 9 times out of 10 when we do that, the person that we least suspect, will be the most diligent sometimes, the most dedicated sometimes. Islam? You don't look at, sometimes you have to ignore your perceptions of people and look at what they're actually doing.
That's right. That's right.
And once we get to that point, we can begin to honor each other and elevate. The word is edify.
That's right.
Right? Edify one another. And through this edification process, we become Negro, black, and colored proof. If I can say that. You see what I'm saying? In other words, the victimized mentality, the things the trauma that's been taking place that Willie Lynch said that will be, self-refueling for hundreds if not thousands of years. We'll stop doing it to one another once we recognize it in ourselves and seek to correct it, right? And then extend the hand out. That's what the top of the divine constitution and bylaws over to the right, that hand press, right? You extend the hand, that olive branch, and lift your brother or sister up. And that's what this work is designed to do. Islam. So I want to give honors to my brother right here, who for every uplifting act in More Science of America, my brother's always there. When our roof was leaking 2 months ago, that brother was on top of the roof, making sure the roof was patched. So when it rained, it wouldn't be Noah's flood on the inside of here. Islam, him, my 10-year-old son, and brother Adar, who's not here. If you see this video, brother, honors to my brother Adar. Islam. But these are the ones that we have to give honors to, the ones that do the work. Break the cliques.
That's right.
Right? Prophet said, get out of segregation because it's against our laws. We're going to get into that. But actually demonstrate, actually do what we say we are called to do. Islam? Now, what I'd like to draw from, in Moorish literature, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali has an article entitled Tongues. Oh yeah, we're going for a ride tonight. The Grand Governor came in a move. We're going to turn up the heat a little bit, but it's all in the spirit of love. Okay? Tongues. Prophet instructs us, he says, One of the most difficult things in this world to get control of is the human tongue. Kipling never wrote anything more truer than when he wrote that, quote, "Man may hold most any post if he'll only hold his tongue." Before you set your tongue to action, get it under control. A single tongue can do more harm in the world than a battalion of soldiers. For soldiers can kill bodies, while the tongue can kill reputations and characters. Really, it is too bad that we have no laws to curb tongues from lying and scandalizing. No doubt you all have read the story of Iago, a character in one of Shakespeare's plays, which is Othello, right?
That's right.
When he powerfully pictured in the character of Iago the terrible consequences following the path of an evil tongue. Iago not only destroyed the reputation and pure character of Desdemona, but he finally, through Othello, killed her body. That's why I say, compel your tongue to speak helpful messages, or else keep it still. I'm gonna read that again. That's why I say, compel your tongue to speak helpful messages, or else keep it still. Islam, Moors?
Islam.
Make it a rule of your life to use your tongue for high purposes only. Moors, that's law. That's Moorish law, right? So we don't do the idle talk, you know, because where you think you're doing idle talk and small talk, there's always someone listening.
Always.
Oh, Islam?
Islam.
It says, resolve to speak of a man or woman of no other way unless you speak of good qualities of that man or woman. No one ever gained happiness out of injuring the feelings or the character of someone else. No one ever failed to get happiness by speaking well of other people. So learn as if you were to live forever, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Islam, Moors? That's from the Moorish Guide newspaper, February 1st, 1929. Islam?
Islam.
So there would have been no need for the prophet to put those words in motion if this wasn't happening in 1929.
That's right.
It's happening in 1929 and it's happening in 2017.
That's right.
The Negro condition is still real. It's something that we go to war with daily. It's something that we practice, you know, how we will respond to it each holy day. Every time we come in for the holy day meeting, we're practicing government. We're practicing operating in our higher self. We're practicing the science of edification and building one up. Islam? Because if we don't do it amongst one another, where are we going to get it from? Islam?
Islam.
Next, I'd like to draw from the general laws as said by the prophet. This is in Moorish literature, right? Because, you know, as Moors, we do a lot of postulating and demonstrating. But if we don't know our laws, we won't have clear conceptions of the work that we're called to do. Islam, Moors?
Islam.
General laws are said by the prophet, Tuesday, October 17th, 1928. And this was during convention. Islam? Every temple and head is to function by words, deeds, and actions, imitating the prophet, especially when teaching a group of Moors. Any group of Moors, right there, Moors, that is a prophetic statement. Because in 1928, there was only one group of Moors. Islam? Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So he knew that it was going to fragment once he left home. So these laws that he left subsequent to was to teach us how to guide ourselves during that time. Islam? It says, these are the general laws. The supreme laws will be handed to you later. The heads of all temples are to, and again, Moors, remember these are laws. The heads of all temples are to submit a report monthly of all finance. The heads of all temples are to refrain from all wrathful words, profanity in the mildest form, from all members of his or her temple. They must live the life of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and refrain from all alcoholic liquors or any other harmful possibility that would terminate to destroy peace or any other of the divine principles. They are not to contribute to anything that will cause the public to disagree with him or her. And for one to lead a group of Moors, you must keep your house clean, clean with good deeds, kind words. Your wives, brothers, must hear good words, kind words, and must know of your good deeds. If there are children, you must see to their support. Follow this divine principle, for if you don't restrict to this divine principle, then you are not a true Moor, and the heads are not to charge for membership or to overcharge for cards, buttons, or anything issued by the prophet. Those who contribute to either of the preceding are not Moors, but robbers. Islam, notice the prophet drew off the word restrict, right? You'll notice, we're doing a lot of unity work with our brothers and sisters from the Nation of Islam, right? Honest to our brothers and sisters from the Nation of Islam. Islam, they use a term in the nation where they say the restrictive law of Islam. Okay? Ones who don't know the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, has not studied his laws, think that started with Master Prophet Muhammad and Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him. As you see the Prophet, he says, follow this divine principles, for if you don't restrict to this divine principle, then you are not a true Moor. Islam? The Prophet was giving us the restrictive laws of Islam. 1928. You can't raise the Moors, in the mindset of their fathers and mothers and not put them under laws of restriction. Right? We're not anarchists. The Moors are people of law and order. Islam? Membership, sisters and brothers, is free not only here, but all over the world. Now remember, this is 1928. The button is 25 cents, card is 25 cents, and 1 month's dues is paid. That's when he first proclaimed, pay for your button, pay for your card, 1 month's dues up front. Every member pays 50 cents a month for dues, again, 1928. This money goes towards the support of the temple. This, if not paid, does not entitle you to the protection that is provided for you, and especially if you are not working or in the position to work. If you neglect to fulfill the small duty assigned you, how can you rightfully expect money or other help when you are sick or otherwise disabled? Islam? For those taking notes, write down the term mutual aid society or fraternal benefit society. In the 1920s, these type of societies were very common, right? Where, ones would, take out membership in these societies and receive and confer reciprocal helps and mutual obligations. Islam? Moor Science Temple of America, being founded and duly constituted in this time, was set up on that premise. Even though the Prophet didn't say that, he gave us the degrees, receive and confer reciprocal helps and mutual obligations. The word mutual is there, mutual aid. Islam? Moving forward, it says, and real quick, that is the purpose of you paying dues and so on and so forth, right? Dues, and something we don't do here, but we will be going into in time, which is public collection. These things go for the support of the domestic work of the temple. We're supposed to be going towards paying bills, rents, lights, keep the water on, heat in the wintertime, cool in the summertime. Also, when a member is out of work, they're a member, that means they're a part of the body. Islam? Their bills still have to be paid, so on and so forth, well, right? Especially if they're a member in good standing, right? We have to make sure that they're good. Members don't know this, so they think that when they're going through financial hardship, they have to isolate themselves. As a Grand Sheik, people come to me with all types of problems, right? And a lot of times, sometimes they don't come to me with the problems, but Allah will always make sure that I find out, right? And I found out that at times, we've had members that were sleeping in cars, but were too proud to tell us. I found that we've had members sleeping in hotel rooms with whole families, but were too proud to tell us. Islam? At that point, I felt like we had betrayed the Prophet. I felt like at that point we had betrayed the Moorish movement, because these ones are supposed to know that they could come to the temple, come to the Grand Sheik, come to the treasurer or the secretary, Islam, and let them know their situation in private and then be handled in confidence. Islam? I don't make no large announcement that this person is going through this, but it has to be dealt with. If not, then the work that we're doing, we're playing with it. Islam? And to be a real Moorish leader, you must study the Quran and divine constitution that is handed down unto you by I, the Prophet. The head of any temple can maintain an emergency fund which cannot exceed the amount from 25 cents to 50 cents a week per member. Again, this is 1928, right? All public collections and dues also go to the support of the temple and its domestic work. Islam?
Islam.
Technically, before the Grand Sheik is brought up, a collection is supposed to be taken. And that collection is set aside for payment of the bills of the temple.
Islam.
If we're not doing that, then that's being offset somehow. And usually there's a burden being placed on someone.
Islam.
Islam?
Islam.
These matters must be looked into with the hope of correcting them.
Islam.
Islam, Morris?
Islam.
The head of every temple must, by law, obey the word of the prophet. And if any head leader or head of any temple fails to obey these laws, embezzlement is his charge and is subject to enforcement of the law by grand body. And the penalty may be a fine or removal from office or placed under a very heavy restriction of the law. Supreme words of prophet, noble Jerusalem. Islam?
Islam.
Right? Let's cut over to the article entitled, Think This Over, You Moors. The prophet says, all sheiks, grand sheiks, must prepare for the prophet before he comes to visit them. Must see to it that all is clean and in perfection as far as comfort is possible, or otherwise don't arrange to have his presence. That's a demonstration. Sister Taifa demonstrated when she got down at 8:30 in the morning. Because you don't invite company over and your house is a mess.
Islam.
See, that's the bar that the prophet Noble Drew put us under.
Islam.
You don't have visiting grand sheiks coming from other temples, and the temples are in disarray. Islam?
Islam.
And on an esoteric level, right, when the great meeting is on and the meeting is convened, right, the oracle, we're convening for the oracle to open up.
That's right.
Because technically the speakers that come, whether they're speaking from the Grand Sheik's podium or the guest rostrum, these ones are supposed to be putting themselves aside and opening themselves up to allow Allah to speak through them.
Islam.
Islam, Allah and His Holy Prophet, Noble Drew. Islam,
Islam.
if you have not made sure that your temple was clean, don't arrange to have that presence. Because it can do more harm than good. What Prophet said, what may do good may also do harm.
That's right.
Islam? So if you're arranging for, a divine message to come through a filthy temple, and that message is going to come out jaded.
Islam.
And we may wonder sometimes, well, why didn't that come out the way I wanted it to? It's because we have to clean ourselves out.
Islam.
Islam? So that's internally, as within, so without.
Islam.
So that's this temple and that's this temple. Islam says all members should pay from 25 cents to 50 cents weekly towards the emergency fund. This fund will increase so that it will soon amount to the grand sum of $1,000 in 1928. That is, if you are loyal Moors, right? Underline in your Moorish literature, or if you're taking separate notes, loyal Moors. The Prophet mentions that in another section of Moorish literature. The emergency fund goes into the bank. The treasurer will attend to the responsibility of seeing that the money is in the bank. Yes, and under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America of Finance. When needed, act according to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. Islam?
Islam.
And this is something that you learn when you're elevated to the Sheikdom or the Adept Chamber of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam? There's procedures for all these various different things. Right? The Prophet left us. No head of any temple is to borrow from any member more than $5 to $10, unless by notification of the Prophet, the necessity for the loan. When any said temple desires to purchase property, they must first notify the grand body or the Prophet, and it must be purchased under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America or Noble Drew Ali. Right? And that's trust law. Okay? An individual name should never be applied. I, Noble Drew Ali, notice that's on the back of your 101 or 2, right? I, Noble Drew Ali. I, Noble Drew Ali, am responsible for all finance. So therefore, let I, the Prophet, know what is on me. Some of you have slipped and slipped drastically. So you had better lace up your shoes before I get there. Everything, every business transaction or anything pertaining to finance is to be transacted in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America or Noble Drew Ali. We Moors must maintain a grand treasurer, just as in the days of our forefathers. Then you are a nation. Until then, you are nothing. The emergency fund is issued by no book, but by an emergency card punched according to contribution, then marked on book. That is the law, and the law must live. The government is behind me, and I must get behind you, for I must uphold and enforce the law. My mission is to save you Moors. The heads of all temples, grand sheiks, grand sheikas, must conform to the divine principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They must live the life among the members and be loved even as the prophet is loved. Islam? Moors, let me pause there. To be loved as the prophet is loved is a huge responsibility. When people love you like the prophet, they come to you with everything. People come to you with their problems, about their children, their health problems, all types of stuff, because they trust you. Islam? There's an energy that's rooted in love that emanates itself from individual to individual if you're in a room full of people that understand that love. Islam? I experienced that love last week when our MGT sisters was here. Islam? At the end of the meeting, sisters was hugging. Islam alaikum, Islam, just glowing and radiating, and everything was high and light. And where we lose that, I'm speaking to the sisters, and I'm gonna focus on y'all in a minute. Where we lose that, we lose the foundation of our nation. Because be clear, sisters, that you are the foundation of our nation. Right? So when people look at us as far as if we're serious about what we're doing, they're not gonna look at the brothers. They never look at the brothers. They always look at the sisters. And it has to be a closeness, and that closeness has to be a natural closeness. Islam? I honestly our sister Zenobia because she's launched a personal campaign on social media about sisterhood. I follow all your posts, sister. All of them. You know, but I know what you're up against. Not easy, is it? They did the job on us, right? But you know, I give honors to any Moorish American Muslim, especially sisters, who attend their meetings, because that shows me that you're at least trying. You know what I'm saying? If you're here, no matter where you're at along the road, if you're here, you're attending your meetings each week, it shows me that you're at least making the attempt. So some of these lessons are, you know, seeping in. I know your subconscious is always recording. So at the time when you least expect it, it's going to jump out. The degree will just come out. But you got to be here to be receiving it. Y'all have to be around each other. Islam? Right? We're going to get there. They must not, and it's funny, it's the next verse. They must not practice the principle of segregation among any group in his or her temple. That's not easy. I know that some of us, all we know is segregation. So if you see it, don't judge. Don't judge. Right? Give that person time. You know? There was a time, let me ask you this. How many of you, from the time that you first proclaimed your nationality, had a 100% zeal about the work you were called to do right after you proclaimed your nationality? Or did it take you a while to understand why you were here? It definitely takes time. And if you say you had 100% zeal and was ready to, you lying. I've been here a minute, you're lying. Right? So if we see one or ones, right, that's trying to figure it out, they know, okay, I'm clear that I'm not Negro, Black, and Colored. I know that. That's why they proclaim. So that was step one, right? But to learn how to work with your own people, right? How to put away or, you know, or to bury the stuff that your family did to you when you're growing up. You know, the stuff that, you know, your coworker might did to you right before you got to the top. All that type of stuff, you see what I'm saying? Or financial troubles, whatever. To put all that aside and get here and summon the holy breath and demonstrate love, that takes practice. Islam, Moors? Don't worry about the vanguards got to.
Islam.
Look this way. Islam? It takes practice, right? And you have to consistently show a person love. You got to learn, you got to show a person love until they learn to love themselves. A lot of us don't even know how to love ourselves. But look in the mirror and say, I love, if I don't love nobody else, I love that person right there. A lot of us can't do that. So how can they be expected to love someone else? And if you don't have that mercy in you, that means you're not in tune with your higher self. Right? Because the prophet says what? The mother of all virtues and the harmonies of life, breeding justice, mercy, love, and right. Islam? So if we don't have that more, then we're not in tune with our higher selves. We just low ourselves running to and fro with Moorish garb on. Islam? Let's move on. It says, let it be he or she that is head of any temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that if there should come any grievance that cannot be settled by the head, notify the prophet at once. No member is to attend adept chamber that has not lived a moral and clean life and has not paid his or her dues or assessments, providing that he or she is working or able, cannot consider himself a Moor. But traitors must be excluded from the books after having a fair trial by the head of their temple, and that must be sent in to the grand body. And all members that are able to subscribe towards the uplifting fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. And those that are able and fail to act are not Moors but traitors to their cause and trust and their nation, and are not allowed to share all the Moorish honors. And the penalty is, notice that hyphen again, it is embezzlement of the faith of our creed. All heads of all temples must observe these laws. By the Prophet. Islam? Why am I going over some of this? Last week when, our Nation of Islam family is here, and I'm doing this on camera for a reason, because I get a lot of inboxes of Moors from around the country that are going through similar issues in their temples. And, a lot of times, we deal with this off camera and quiet, but the problems are not going to get solved that way. So I'm going on record as saying we have these problems in our temple too, right? If you notice, my children don't really come to the temple. If you notice that. My son Tom, my oldest son, he'll come. He had a lot when he was here, but he's in New Jersey now. But, from time to time, you may see my daughter Nefertiti pop up. Okay? When she comes, she sits and she listens. At the end of the meeting, how'd you like it? How'd you enjoy yourself? Because I've never forced Islamism on my children. Never done it. Always put it around them, right? So that way they would have the principles and know how to recognize morality when they saw it or not, right? But I spoke to her after Sunday's meeting because I was tired. Sunday's meeting, I was elated, right? But I'm seeing a lot from a certain side, right? She's like, well, Abu, it was good, but y'all got the same stuff going on, and then I can't be around it. That's what are you talking about? She's like, as beautiful as the spread was that the sisters laid out, there were people talking about who did what, who brought what, right? That made me be like, okay. Now the Sheik demonstrated a chapter called Suratul Nas. He talked about it. We're talking about that whispering, right? In the Quran of Mecca, it gives it in Arabic. They have it translated in English, right? I'll recite it for the purposes of what I want to demonstrate, but I want you to notice a particular quality in the Arabic that you don't get in the English. At the ending of every verse, you'll notice a particular sound, okay? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Kul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas, min shari waswasi khannas, alladhi waswasi fi suduri nas, min al-jannati wan nas. You hear that? The hiss. What animal is known to hiss? Snake. How do snakes move? Do snakes come straight up? Or it's like a side-to-side motion? Right? Right. And this is how ones who move in this fashion move. Right? Now, some of you may be along the road further than others. Right? Maybe a little stronger. When we have visitors that come, right? My sister right here, welcome. I'm sorry to deal with family business, but these things need to be done. When we have visitors, they're newer along the road, right? Moorish is new to them. They'll never get a chance to meet Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, in the form.
So
they meet our Prophet through us.
that's right.
They learn the movement through us. And if their first chance to meet the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is through the end of a meeting and gossip, hatred and slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms, you think they're going to stick around? Right? Now, the Prophet he said, I must enforce the law in order to save the nation. Right? In Act 1, he empowers the Grand Sheik. This is the Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Assistant Grand Sheik is the Assistant Grand Sheik in all affairs if He lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple. Islam? Those aren't just words. That's not rhetoric. That's a law. Islam? Right? So, Brother Chairman, for the record, because our secretary's not here today, what we'll be doing, thank you, Sister Nova, take this down. If any member, sheik or member, is caught or is reported to be slandering, gossiping, or backbiting, first warning, a fine will be issued. Second warning, the fine will be doubled. Third warning, there will be charges and the fine will be tripled. And on the charges being filed, you'll be facing suspension and or expulsion from the Moorish Science Temple of America. So, why do we have to do this? Because the salvation of our people is not a game.
That's right.
If you think we're here each week, putting up finance, sacrificing time, energy, our breath, and our blood to be playing, you got us messed up. Okay? So it's about enforcing the law. Worldwide, Muslims are not known to play anyway. So to come around a group of Muslims playing, you in the wrong house. Go somewhere where people will allow that stuff. They might allow it in the church. Have fun there. Respect to the church. But we don't allow it in our prophets. Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam? Islam? Go to the prophet has spoken. All governors and grand sheiks and head officials that guide anybody of Moors, of any temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America, he or she must be of good moral standing and a heart of love, and their works must be of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They're to imitate the prophet in speech and teaching in any said temple. What does that mean? Adepts are taught. The Prophet Muhammad, when he demonstrated the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Prophet was a very soft-spoken yet serious individual. Prophet Noble Jurabi, as handed down by our Moorish elders, never really talked louder than he needed to talk. Prophet wasn't a person that would yell, wasn't a person that screamed down at people, wasn't that type of person. He demonstrated from a position of love, but demonstrated, boundaries, because he was born in the house of Capricorn. If you know anything about Capricorn, Capricorn deals with boundaries. The Capricorn will let you know quick. Now, we're not going to do all that. It's going to stop right here. Islam? For the Prophet, Noble Drali to be bringing us Islamism back. The word Islam, right? In the middle of the word Islam is this word here, which is la, in Arabic, which means no. So the very center of the concept of Islam, right, is restriction. This is because it's by way of circumscribing your words and deeds that you can demonstrate what this word really means, which is peace. You can't have peace unless you restrict yourselves to the divine principles. Islam was? The Prophet commanded us and mandated us to construct an abode, which means dwelling of peace.
That's right.
Where, he told us what happens in that place, where no vain word,
that's right. Come on.
or sinful discourse is even heard.
That's right.
Right? Now, we didn't have that Sunday. It only appeared to be so. We didn't have it Sunday. It just appeared to be it. Right? And a lot of times I'll miss stuff because I'll be in official mode. And I don't, if you notice at the end of a meeting, especially when we have guests and stuff like that, I'm not in social mode sitting around kicking it. And if it's food, I never eat. If you notice that? I never eat because I'm working. Islam? That's the Prophet trained his sheiks. And sheiks says, we're not sitting around kicking it. We got work to do. Islam? But I'm only seeing things from a certain perspective, right? But you got to know, everybody look at the chart of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Look at it, right? What do you see at the top of the chart? Can anybody make that out? Under the word chart, that emblem right there, what is it? It's an eye, referred to as the all-seeing eye. Prophet has eyes everywhere. Grand Sheik has eyes everywhere. So just because you think the Grand Sheik don't hear or see, that don't mean it don't come back. Because the Grand Sheik or Sheikas don't speak on it immediately, that don't mean it's not going to get addressed. What does it say? Don't think that Allah winketh at thy wrongdoings because the punishment is delayed. In the chapter of religion, doesn't it say that? Islam? Because there's a time and a place to address everything. See, going forward from this, we're going to make that nationality card that's in your pocket mean something. Because running around with a nationality card in your pocket still acting like niggers, excuse my language. Find myself. Pardon that word in the holy day. But acting like Negroes in a pure environment, it has to end. And I have to lead it as the Grand Sheik. It's on my neck first. Islam? All right, moving forward. It says, let me just take it from the top. He or she must be a good moral standard and a heart of love, and their works must be of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They are to imitate the prophet in speech and teaching in any said temple. They must not be under the influence of intoxicating liquors or any other harmful motive that will terminate to become detrimental to the organization. It must not be known that any leader is staying away from home or neglecting his duty at home, or must allow the public to know of their wrongdoings. They must forever live the life of love at home, and it must be known by all the members. They must not speak rash words or any profane language in the mildest form to any other individual, because a leader without the influence of good works cannot be a leader. And to be a real Moorish leader, you must study the Quran and the divine constitution that is handed down unto you by our prophet. Didn't the prophet just repeat himself? This is a man that doesn't have time to waste, but he just repeated himself. Islam? How important is that section for us to live if the prophet repeated himself? No finance business is to be opened with any group of members of any temple by the governor or the grand sheik or whosoever in charge without the consultation of I, the prophet. All uplifting funds, books are to be issued only through I, the prophet, because that money is to finance the Moorish movement. The head of any temple can maintain an emergency fund, which cannot exceed the amount of from 25 cents to 50 cents a week per member. All public collections and dues, so both of them be collected, right? Because it's conjunctive. All public collections and dues, also to the supporting of each said temple and its domestic work. No finance books are to be served in any temple except by the prophet. The head of every temple must, by law, obey the word of the prophet, and if any leader or head of any temple fails to obey these laws, embezzlement is his charge and is subject to the enforcement of the law by the grand body. And the penalty may be a fine or a removal from office or placed under a heavy restriction of the law. Supreme words of the prophet. Noble Drali Islam. Notice it mentions fine, right? Any additional laws, you can also be fined for standing around on your meeting period. What does that mean? Standing around on your meeting period means when the faithful are gathered, when the Moorish American Muslims are gathered, chairman convenes the meeting, the Moorish American Muslims should be present in the temple. Shouldn't be in the world running around doing whatever we're doing. You know, we got work to do here, and the work is not a game. If you're not here, the next time you're here, there should be fines levied and given to the chairman and secretary. Islam? See, you have to atone for what you do. If you don't, then there is no growth. Islam? We actually tend to think that in the world out there, that you can, do any particular legal infraction. And if you're caught doing it, you can be brought before a municipality. You got to stand before a judge and answer for what you did. Islam? That exists there. But we proclaim our nationality and become thinking men and women, civilized, correct? And when we commit an infraction inside of those precincts, there's not supposed to be anything to happen. Islam? You talking about the laws of our forefathers. You're talking about being the Moors. Y'all better study who your forefathers were. They didn't play them type of games. And we're not going to play them. Like the prophet said, vice is not necessary to be tolerated. Islam?